Greetings, business professionals, and welcome to another video edition of Building Better Businesses. I am your host, Steve Eschbach, and I'm delighted to have you join us on another one of our episodes. I am one of a few Transworld business advisor owners here in Chicagoland, and we specialize in assisting business owners confidentially sell and match them with qualified buyers. Transworld, by the way, is the world's largest and fastest growing business brokerage firm. I also own a number of other entities that are designed to assist business owners enhance value. You know, I have been a corporate executive and a business owner for more than 40 years, so you would think I would know everything possible about running a business efficiently. Well, you would be further from the truth. In fact, I am delighted to say that many of my successes have been attributable to you out there who have, quote, been there, done that in a world that never seems to stop changing. So I am delighted now to present another episode whereby we can learn from a subject matter expert on how to enhance your business operations. Now on to the next edition of Building Better Businesses. Good morning, everyone. My name is Steve Eschbach. I'm an owner of Transworld Business Advisors here in the greater Chicagoland area. It's in Naperville. And I'm delighted to have a business colleague and good friend, Jessica Starks, with me. She's also a Transworld Business Advisors owner in Michigan. I'll let her talk a little bit more about her background in a minute, but we've been working together for about 3-4 years, maybe longer. And as part of the Upper Midwest regional team, we do get together on a frequent basis, at least once or twice a year. But obviously, we don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give each other a call when we think we can help each other out. So first of all, Jessica, thank you so much for being here. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Steve. I really appreciate it.
Okay, that's great. So I'm going to go have you rewind the videotape in a moment, but tell us about who it is you are today, what your background is education-wise. I think we chatted that you own a couple of businesses. I think you had a professional career in corporate America prior to that. So if you can just summarize that for me, that would be great.
So I own a Transworld territory here in Michigan. I help people buy and sell businesses. Main Street businesses is my focus. Professionally, I got a degree in accounting and finance, went through accounting firms. So I got background regarding financial statements, tax returns, went into sales and helped people with payroll processing. From there, I went into banking. So my latest career before joining Transworld was over 10 years in commercial banking. And what I found from commercial banking is there's a lot of business transactions that were happening. We were helping finance those deals. So knowing the structure of a sale and how you can finance it, knowing financial statements just helps in the sale process for business owners. So that's what got me into this today.
Good for you. Good for you. So let's rewind the videotape way back.
Okay.
Tell me about your childhood. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and in 6th grade, I headed over to Ionia, Michigan. So it's a really small town. Of course, in Michigan, we use our hand, and this is Detroit. This is the west side of the state. And so I'm kind of over here. Lansing's in the middle, and I'm living in Ionia. And so I went to Grand Valley after high school, and the rest is history.
You're not the first person to share a hand with me about your state. They do that in Wisconsin too. So I'm glad
what's
you told
Wisconsin's look like? I haven't seen that one. But
well, this is Sturgeon Bay, and then this is the rest of the state.
Oh, so it's the same thing. It's just flip-flopped.
But you know what? You never stop learning, so that was good.
Right.
So you weren't like pedaling your tricycle on the street saying, I want to be a business broker someday, did you?
No, I never thought I would be where I'm at today. I feel that everything that I've done in the past has gotten me to where I am today. I think you always evolve through your experiences, and I'm so happy with where we are. Through commercial banking, the last recession, my husband and I started investing in real estate. So again, we were in banking, I was helping with those transactions, but then we started doing our own transactions. So now I'm helping other people with their business transactions. And actually, my husband bought a business in the fall, and he, I helped him through that process as well. So now we're multiple business owners. So
what type of business does he own, Jessica?
He owns a property management and maintenance company. So it kind of correlates with our rental properties as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. And you said you own one other one too, is that right?
Well, the Transworld franchise, but also our real estate business.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So how did you go from banking to business brokering? I mean, it seems to make logical sense, and I get that because of what I do as well. I went from investor relations to business brokering, same type of thing. You're telling the story about a company and trying to present it in its best light. So how did you go from banking to business brokerage? For me, I was a little too senior for the next opportunity, so it just made logical sense. At Transworld, I could help business owners confidentially sell and match them with qualified buyers. How did you go from banking? Were you looking for something else in banking and didn't happen, or how did you get introduced to Transworld?
Yeah, I mean, it was always a dream of mine to continue to go up the ranks in commercial banking. I was at Huntington Bank and we had a merger, and which is great. And so we had more people to bring to the puzzle. And I was helping my customers. I mean, the real reason would be I kind of saw that as a crossroad or an opportunity to either continue doing what I was doing, which was great. I mean, helping my customers is wonderful. Huntington is a fabulous bank, but I saw it as an opportunity to then maybe look beyond, what I was currently doing. And when we had the rental business, it allowed me to financially be able to make a jump from corporate to what we do today. And again, I'm still helping customers from the bank. I mean, my first few sales were my bank customers who sold, which is fabulous. So really at the heart of all this is helping my customers.
So I hear helping customers. So the next question I had is, what do you like best about what you do? And it sounds like just helping people out.
It is. It's helping people out. And the more people I can help out, the better. I mean, whether I sell a $50,000 business or $1 million business, I still love helping through that process. And selling a business brings so much emotion. People are happy. People are sad. They get mad. I feel like I should be a psychologist sometimes.
It's funny you mentioned that. I do have a lot of psychologists in my professional network, and kiddingly, I said I always need you by my side when I meet with a prospective seller or prospective buyer, because you're right, there is an emotional part to that.
Absolutely.
So to date, now, what would you say is your highest professional moment? What is like the big wow for Jessica up until this point?
Yeah, I would say, with Transworld, I actually was awarded Rookie of the Year. President's Club. I mean, those are my most recent awards. And when you're a small business owner, there's not many times that you get awards. I don't know. So that is really great to have support and recognition, I think is nice. Whether it's being a mom and you're doing a good job right now in the times that we're in with, trying to manage everything, or again, being recognized, it's, I think, a good thing to hear or seeing the good that you do.
So what advice would you give yourself when you started your business brokerage? Now, you've been doing it for how long now? 3-4 years?
Yes, my fourth year.
Fourth year. So what advice would you have given yourself 4 years ago that would get you to where you are today, do you think?
Yeah, I would say deals take patience, and learning more about the psychology of people is probably helpful, so where people are coming from or going to, and maybe the roadblocks that you can encounter. But what I love about this profession is it's always changing. There's always a new industry I'm working with, always a new business owner who had a great idea. That's what I love about being a business broker, is they actually came up with the great idea and I'm helping them transition their baby for them. It's great to see.
Good to know. So now you've probably dealt with, I would guess, hundreds of prospective sellers, hundreds of prospective buyers. What would you say is the best time for anyone to A, start selling their business, or B, start getting ready to buy a business? What advice would you have on those two sides of the fence, if you will?
So to start buying a business, I'll start there. I'm just making some notes so I don't forget my thoughts. To start buying a business, it's kind of like looking at a house. Are you going to buy the first house that you see? Maybe not. So I think that, or probably not. I think you need to learn about industries and really what they entail. For example, if you want to buy a restaurant, well, that entails, depends on the hour, but it would be different than a bar. A bar would probably be open till 2:00 in the morning. So what kind of restaurant do you really want to buy? So really determining what your lifestyle is. So to buy, I think, people buy businesses within a few months, but to really dig a little bit deeper into a few different options, I think is a great idea. To start selling, I think people who prepare 3 to 5 years out have the golden ticket. However, this is May 15th of 2020, and, they prepared for a few years and look what happened. So I would say a lot of sellers recently were holding on tight to awesome times that were going on in the economy, and it kind of came to a halt. I would say that sell when you're high, sell when you're doing good, sell when the going is going well, because I know there's a lot of sellers out there wishing that they would have.
Yeah, I have often found that many of the business owners that I come into contact with, some of them I say, call me 3 years too late. So in other words, they go 10 to 12 years and they really are getting their most out of the business, and then they kind of get a little tired. Then they call me in year 15, and then they think they can get valuations based on 3 years ago, and that's not the case.
Right. So
I find that many prospective buyers in those situations, they don't say, yeah, I understand you got tired. They want to know what the closets are on the highway. There. So the skeletons in the closet, I mean. Right. So now that you've done it 4 or 5 years, or 3-4 years, what advice would you give yourself today? Now you've learned things over the course of 4 years. Now what's the advice you're giving yourself as you go out and meet with prospective sellers and meet with prospective buyers?
Today is different than what would be in a normal non-pandemic time. So it's I feel like I'm kind of going back and forth. Like right now, it's just being a face to your clients, to the community, to help, them process all this. So it's being a sounding board, but before I would say just network, connect. And we can still be doing that right now. Just connect and try to be there for people who need you when the time is right. There is, I've learned quickly that I'm not a hard salesperson because I can't make a seller want to sell. They have to have a need and a motivation to transfer their baby, their business. And so I think realizing that and just being there when the time is right is the most important thing.
Absolutely. So what's your biggest challenge then today? I know we've got this pandemic thing that is kind of affecting any and everyone, but any other challenges outside of the pandemic here? I mean, like I said, you've been doing this for 3 or 4 years, and there must be some commonalities where you see that there are certain challenges and whatever that you need to overcome. Anything you can summarize there for the audience?
I think challenges is being upfront to your clients with how structures could go. I actually don't like asking sellers to put, a hard, like, this is my answer, this is how it's going to go, because we don't know who our buyer is. So one thing that came to mind was like seller financing. A lot of sellers don't want the risk of seller financing. However, that is a reality, and even banks want some skin in the game from the seller just to make sure that their customers are going to transition.
That makes a lot of sense. So do you have any ideal industries, ideal client that is among your favorites of all that you've dealt with or that you want to deal with? Like, for example, the one thing I've found in this pandemic, and I'll just give you an example, 2 things that seem to be popular. One is liquor stores.
Yep.
And the other, believe it or not, is healthcare. I've got a couple of healthcare businesses that still have continued to get some interest here as we're in this time, because those things I think are always going to be somewhat needed. They might take different shapes and forms, but they're still kind of going to be needed. Restaurants might take different shapes. Hair salons might take different shapes. Right. So what do you think is your ideal client, or is that still evolving for you?
I would say it's still evolving. I mean, I've sold anything from, I'm just looking at my file folders. I've sold manufacturing, distribution, trucking companies. I've sold a couple non-medical home care businesses, restaurants, racetracks, dog boarding. Again, I'm just around. So I don't have a specialty. I would say I really like service industries. Again, it kind of goes back to that non-medical home care or janitorial or property management. I think that's truly where my heart lies. Is to help with the service industry. And to buyers, it might be a little bit more difficult to buy because it's mostly going to be goodwill in selling a service industry versus the hard assets, the hard collateral.
So now that your husband owns property management, you're working with him on that, and you got Transworld, which is, business brokerage. Are there parallels that you're seeing? Do they intertwine a little bit? Are they totally distinct? Because you might be residential property. I don't know if it's residential, commercial properties. Any tie-ins among the 2 businesses that you're doing?
I would say I'm learning a lot from an employee aspect. I obviously my customers do have employees, and But there's just a whole nother animal when we're actually in it trying to navigate, workman's comp or scheduling or payroll, raises and different things like that. So similarities though, no, he's on the residential side. I would say it has more similarities to our real estate because we own residential real estate.
Those good parallels there.
Yeah.
So I think I've covered the questions that I wanted to do with you today. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want our audience to know about?
Yeah, I would say as a seller to start talking to a business broker as soon as possible. I mean, even, I have great relationships from the buyers that I've helped to buy the businesses. Like, let's talk. Like, what does this look like going forward? You can never be prepared. You never know what could happen, health, divorce, death, unfortunately, like so many things can happen. It just always to be prepared and run your business like you're selling it, I think is really key. You could get burnt out. You could want to, go to another, down another road. I just think being prepared and having conversations, having these relationships with advisors, whether it's us as brokers and your accountant, your attorney, your banker, I'm good at what I do, but I'm not good at vice versa. So we can all grow together as long as we have the right advisors around us.
So I think I could summarize what you're saying is not what you know, but who you know. And
absolutely.
Surround yourself with subject matter experts that can take you to the next level. So
yep.
That's kind of what you're looking for. So now we're ready to close up shop here for this interview, but I want you to tell me how people can get in touch with you. So your phone number, your website, your email. Why don't you let the world know who it is you are, how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you. Again, I'm Jessica Starks with Transworld Business Advisors of Lansing, which is in Michigan. So my website's www.twworld.com/Lansing. And then my email or my phone number is 517-492-0039. And then my email is jstarks, STARKS, @twworld.com.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your insights. I certainly appreciate that. And thanks again. And we'll be talking to you again soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Bye-bye.